Hey, so I forgot that the Divine Temptress fell on the floor the other night. I forgot to pick her up. Um, and I picked her up, I put her back on the deck. Here's that Queen of Swords. I picked her up, I put her back on the deck. Um, and then I was just shuffling, and a card fell back out on the floor. And I was gonna do a whole like, oh, like this card fell out where the Divine Temptress was. And when I picked it up, it was the same card but in reverse. And I was like, of course. And the moon was at the bottom of the deck. So I was like, of course. Anyway, today's gonna be tonight. Gonna be whatever. We're in the headphones again. Not that you necessarily should care. Um, Hector, Five of Swords, Venus and Aquarius. I don't remember when or why kinetic energy came forward. Excuse me, but I could only get translational and vibrational. And I was just randomly in the store the other day, and I was like, translational, rotational, vibrational. I was like, all of a sudden, just remembered that the other form of energy is rotational. And so I still haven't ordered the card protectors yet. That will happen now. Um, I'm gonna use the Table Maker's animated tarot. Hey Holly, how you doing? I am. I've been up very late. And the Five of Pentacles lately. Knight of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles. So deck dungeon challenge. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shuffle that deck a little more. Um, but we're gonna do translational, rotational, vibrational as three different ways to move and generate kinetic potential. Degrees of freedom just popped into my mind. And I feel like I don't think I've mentioned degrees of freedom, but I feel like it came to mind recently for some reason. I don't remember where or when or why. There's that. But now when I think of degrees of freedom, I'm thinking of like an equation, independent variables, degrees of freedom and independent variables. So, like, let's say you have an equation a plus b plus c equals d. In that, you would essentially have three independent variables, assuming a, b, and c are of no significant consequence to one another. You would have three independent variables, right? Because d is always going to be a function of a, b, and c. You can't have a d that equals something that is not a plus b plus c. But degrees of freedom is like different. It's not all the way. I am wanting snow. Interestingly enough, when I was on my break, trip, vacation, visit, while I was visiting family, I saw on the news that there was a program to give like backpacks for kids, backpacks full of school supplies for kids that need them. And I was like, oh, like I want to do something like that. And I get home and I'm friends with people that have kids and on Facebook. And one of my friends was asking about where to get the school supply list. And somebody said that they're providing the school supplies for the kids. I was like, wow. So can't even get a backpack for kids because the schools are giving them school supplies, which is nice. Don't get me wrong, but I guess today I just took it as a generosity that I wanted to provide, a kindness that I'm in a position to provide backpack of school supplies. Like it's covered, it's already happening. Like that. So I was thinking of back to this. For some reason, it feels like vibrational energy, kinetic potential is a function of translational and rotational energy, meaning that yeah, it's a function of translational and like our ability to translate, to move linearly, and our ability to rotate on an axis, however we're rotating. Like, because that's what a vibration is, right? It's just translate, rotate, back and forth, kind of. But maybe that's not the case. We'll see. But yeah, we'll see what's up. So what I'm gonna do is, excuse me, I'm gonna use the Fable Makers. I meant to do this before I went live. I'm gonna open up the deck dungeon sheet. We'll get the challenges, and I'm gonna use the Spirit Keeper's Tarot, the Truvian edition, to pull before and after the card that comes out to clarify. Since that deck, since I didn't pack it up all the way. Well, well, the app has a new. Is that my degree? I have my digital diploma here in my recent documents, and I haven't looked at it recently. So, excuse, oh, excuse me. Oh, I feel like something's trying to like come out of my throat. I mean, I could read it. I don't really have to. I installed that on my laptop the last time I installed it on my laptop. Right? I had to. Or was I using my phone? I was using my phone, but I feel like I also installed it on my laptop. Um, oh, excuse me. Yeah. So be it known that the trustees of Purdue University, upon nomination of the faculty of the College of Engineering, have granted to me the degree of Bachelor of Science in Biological Engineering in recognition of the fulfillment of the requirements of that degree awarded at West Lafayette in the state of Indiana, December 12th, 2020. And it's interesting because the dean of the College of Engineering is now the president of the school. Cool. Anyway, there's that. If you were curious what it said, and I'm sure no one was. But if you were, I just read it for you. I didn't timestamp the last thing either. What else is going on? Um, not much. A lot. Nothing. A lot of nothing. Did I not? I did. I know I downloaded it. I know it. Here it is. I was like, I know I downloaded it. Okay, cool. It's the big file. I don't know why it wasn't up. Hello. Anyway, want me to read the dedication? So this is the dedication for the Fable Makers animated series. To my fool for ceaselessly adventuring with your eyes on home, to my magician whose potential is palpable and whose commitment is magic, to my high priestess for opening me to endless possibility and belief in my power, to my empress for boldly, unapologetically creating, to my emperor for the relief and freedom to create in safety, to my hierophant for your best ardent guidance, to my lovers for inspiring me to pave and travel my true path, to my chariot for reflecting fearlessness in motion, to my strength, the most loyal and enduring human I have ever met, to my hermit for showing me my way by following your own, to my wheel for the words that changed my life forever, to my justice for the epiphany of internal justification, to my hanged man for proving the worth in waiting, to my death for showing me change can be beautiful, to my temperance for the balance between head and heart, to my devil for helping me see my bonds are my own, to my tower whose foundations stand through the most turbulent storms, to my star for your unfailing belief in me and relentless hope, to my moon for the willingness to identify illusion and the courage to emerge from shadow, to my sun for always bringing light and warmth no matter the darkness, to my judgment whose forgiveness was my first brush with magic, to my world, my inspiration for good, my clarity for metal, my catalyst for wholeness. That's the dedication. The dedication. Why did I say it like that? Let's go to page one. I feel like it's like 109 or something. Not page nine, page 109. Thank you. Yep, we're in here. Cool. All right. It seems like I'm taking forever today. It's been 15 minutes and we're not even started yet. Cool. So, oops, and a cup's at the bottom of the deck. Maybe. I've never read it before. You see. So what I'm gonna do is, if it's a minor, it is an independent variable. If there's a challenge to it, it's independent. If it's a major, then it's dependent upon something that has to be related to one of the first two. If yeah, I would try to break it down more, but if it comes to that, I will. So if it's a minor, then the clarifiers will clarify the challenge. If it's a major, then the clarifiers will clarify its dependence upon whatever. We're going to do it translational, rotational, and then vibrational. Oh, that was immediate. Translational is face down. Rotational, immediate. Five of Swords. The Five of Swords was the first card that came out of the other deck. Vibrational is not coming out as immediately as the first two. But since they fell, excuse me, Nine of Cups. It's vibrational. Bottom of the deck is the King of Wands. Because of course it is. That I wish I could like I don't know, I wish I was cold with mini blankets. Oh snap. Look at this. I need to get those. You can't see it. You see that? You see that edge? I need to get those card protectors. Those card sleeves. So I was setting the cards down, and a sliver of the card behind the King of Wands was revealed. And it's the Queen of Wands. Behind the Queen of Wands is the Fool. The Fool that's like facing down question mark this Knight of Swords. Now what's interesting is we've seen this combination before. I believe that was in Mars conjunct Uranus. The last row of cards for Mars. It had the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Wands in it. And it was talking about there's some truth that the Knight of Swords is riding in with that basically triggers the Queen of Wands. If she could face it, she would become Empress. If not, then she could become something else. So it's interesting to see those two together. Cool. So I'm gonna give this a shuffle. Give it two shuffles. Five of Swords at the bottom of the deck still. Anything that comes out is to be discarded. It didn't come out, but it revealed itself. The grotesque of offense. It's to be discarded. And then, okay. Starting with the Five of Swords, Chariot, Ace of Swords, Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck. There's apparently this is very crazy. The truth has its own wings, set it free, or something like that. And it's almost like truth resonates for truth or with truth. So if you set truth free, it'll fly, lead you to other truths. There's something about these truths that don't feel necessarily convenient. I don't know. Looking for the Five of Swords and the Nine of Cups. Five of Swords is in between. Five of Swords is in between the Knight of Swords and essentially the King of Wands, which is interesting. Try to straighten this as much as we can. Maybe, maybe. Oh my God. Knight of Cups, Queen of Swords, before and after. Knight of Cups. We got Death and the Knight of Wands with the Hermit. The Hermit, the Keeper, and the Ten of Cups are their last three cards. Or yeah, they're the last three, and then the fourth is this Shining Flame. The last card came out yesterday or the day before. Like four cards from the bottom. Five. It was the fifth card from the bottom because there were like three left. It happened that way this time too. I'm not surprised because vibrational energy, again, it came off as dependent upon translational and rotational, or it came off as like translational, rotational were one tier, and vibrational was like another. But since I pulled from the bottom, it actually means it's like closer to the top. These are the last three. We saw the keeper with the magician the last time too, but this time the keeper's with the aerodine. This is a Pisces Virgo opposition with Mars on the side of Pisces. Oh, you see how that's air? You remember when Uranus came out with the Three of Swords and it was like it gave birth, fire and water came together to give birth to the fire that evaporates water, the water that douses fire, and then this strange mix in between. Well, the Fool corresponds to the element of air. And in the SKT, which is a deck I didn't have when I did that, there are three Fools. So there are three major arcana correspondences to air. Interesting. Cool. So, well, I want to timestamp this. I don't want to, but intro slash pulling. We'll say 0000. This is rotational by vibrational and then translational because it's based in 24, 30. There's a lot of wobbling and it's uneven because this is sitting on a bed. So, Five of Swords. The challenges of swords is to connect two words. This is, oh my gosh. Now I gotta get my phone. I end up going to my phone so I can show you. For some reason, the keeper today feels like it's like on the other side of the glass. or on the other side of a door again. Well, I'm getting this so I can show you. Too far. Should be around 109. Because of this, like that doorway with the words at the top and the bottom, something about the doorway in that image makes me think of like where the keeper is. So I could have just read it from my phone. That would have been a wise thing to do. Would it not have been the challenge of the Five of Swords? We already know what the challenge of the Knight of Cups is going to be. But we got a lot of cups challenges. So, the challenge of the Five of Swords. On the wall next to the exit door, two glittering silver words are written, one level with the top of the door frame and one at the bottom. Which is interesting because that's how I saw it was like translational and rotational at like basically the bottom of the door frame and vibrational energy at the top of the door. The goal of these puzzles is to create a ladder of words between the top and bottom words by changing one letter at a time to connect the two words on the wall. If a creature speaks a five-letter word that is one letter different from one of the words on the wall, it magically appears on the wall between the top and bottom words. Once the chain of words is complete, the door opens. The door cannot be opened by other means. The word pairs in bold with sample solutions are presented below. There may be other solutions, including shorter or longer word ladders. Any solution that connects the pair of words causes the door to open. So at the Five of Swords, we're connecting the word seeks with the word finds, interestingly enough. Now, I'm not going to, well, I'll tell you. So connecting the word seeks to finds, you can only change one of those five letters from word to word to word. The sample solution is seeks to seeds, sends, bends, binds, finds. Seed, send, bend, bind, which is interesting. What an interesting change. Now, with these two clarifying this challenge, it's almost like there's an artistic, creative way because this archangel of glory is the angel of arts and grace. So it's just like creative, poetic way to go about to go from seeking to finding. And then with this Knight of Swords, it's like this is a logical, quickest, shortest route path to answer. Also, we have that same universal Mercury that the Six of Swords is holding. Now the Five of Swords takes the place of both the Fool and the Queen of Wands through this series of cards that I showed you already. Between the King of Wands and the Knight of Swords, we had the Fool and the Queen of Wands. Well, that's where this Five of Swords is. So there's something about the Fool and the Queen of Wands that rotates because this is rotational energy. This was the clarifier for it, the challenge of rotation. And it's interesting that the sun is featured on this Fool so prominently because that's who the Queen of Wands is to the sunflower. And this is rotational energy. It's almost giving me how we can get an approximation of translation through rotation. It's like if you have to like wiggle something across like this, right? This is translational, up, down, left, right. But it's like with rotational, it's like you rotate this way and then you rotate that. It's almost like it rotates along, like it rocks. You're rocking it, walking it. And again, it happens one step at a time. Now, because this person is collecting swords, a swirling gale is the shining wind. There's a path to the sun in this card. Um, I don't know, something about this person almost like collecting swords. That's making me think of this like rocking to get somewhere. One word, like one letter off at a time. To go from seeking to finding. And if I look at it how it's on the end, hmm, the Archangel of Glory is seeking, and the shining wind is finding. Seeking and finding is largely the same, but with finding, there's a connotation of success. Seeking is left open. Can we find things? Yeah, we can find things without seeking. We can find a lot of stuff without seeking it. Like those truths that we don't really want to know, those uncomfortable truths. We can find uncomfortable truths all day long that we're not necessarily seeking. I didn't want to know, but I found the truth. Sorry. Cool. With the Nine of Cups, the challenge is there are nine cups filled full of liquid. At the bottom of one of those cups is a silver key that unlocks the door to exit this challenge room. If you drink the wrong cup, you take a certain amount of cold damage. If you drink the right cup, you heal for a certain amount of damage. Um, and you have to drink the entire contents of the chalice. You have to drink the entire contents of the correct chalice that you can identify with wisdom through perception or intelligence through investigation. I don't know why, it's never necessarily felt like this before, but today, it's like we have to drink the entire contents of the right chalice to get the key. We can't take a sip or two sips or three sips. We can't drink like we have to drink every last drop for that key to appear. And it's almost this feeling of not it's almost a feeling of like having chosen the correct chalice, but not drinking its contents to completion to reveal the key to exit the challenge. Now, the Shining Dew, Waters and Waves came out with the Scarlet Shield, Power and Authority of Air, to clarify this vibrational challenge. Now, we've seen the Queen of Air through the Empress recently. Um, and hers was an energy of teaching by example. And there's almost a feeling here, because again, it feels like there's a success in the challenge of vibration that we deem as a failure. We're on the path to success, but we're deeming ourselves a failure and potentially not seeing something through to its completion, which will release us from whatever, which will successfully accomplish the challenge at hand. And it's like, I had this thought. I don't know why. I just read my degree. I changed my major from chemical engineering to biological engineering. And in chemical engineering, I would have needed another chemistry lab, but in biological engineering, I didn't need that chemistry lab. It wasn't a part of the degree requirements. So I took the class, but I dropped the lab. And the last time I took it maybe two times and I dropped it two times because it was just not like vibing with the other stuff I had to do that semester. And I was like, I'll just do it later when I have a lighter semester, when I can dedicate more time to this. And I dropped it. And then I don't remember, I think I had to get like the signature of my lab TA, or I saw her after I dropped it. And she was like, "Why did you drop the lab?" I was like, "Oh, like there's so much going on and I felt like I wasn't doing that well. So I figured I'd just drop it and then take it again when I can like focus on it." And she was like, "What are you talking about? Like you were doing really well in that class." I was like, "Was I?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, well." And then I didn't need it, so I never had to retake it. And I feel like I just thought about that within like the past, I feel like it was recently, how I dropped it because I didn't think I was doing that well. And I didn't have time to really, and it was like probably a not great mental health semester too. And I remember one day I was in the lab and I was just off. And we were doing it was a chemistry lab. We were doing something with chemistry. And there was a glass, like a beaker or a test tube or whatever. And I kept dropping it. And it wasn't like early in the preparation of whatever. It was like prepare the sample and then take it somewhere to do whatever next step. And every time I took it somewhere, I dropped it and it would break and I would have to start all over. Now, I wasn't the only person in my group. So I told the guy I was with, I was like you might want to work with another group today because I'm just off. I keep breaking stuff. And I had to pay for it. It wasn't astronomically expensive. It was like run of the mill glassware, but still. And I told the professor, I was like, I'm just like, I keep dropping it. Like, and that's on me. Like, my partner shouldn't like not be able to get through the lab because I'm having an off day. And so he was able to work with somebody else, and I just took the hit because, or I made up the lab or something. I don't know. Or maybe I dropped the lab. Maybe I dropped the glass. I don't know. But there's again, the energy today is like choosing the right chalice, but not taking it to completion. Something that's a success that we deem as a failure. Now, the DC for 9 cups, I think is like 18. Yeah, it's a DC 18. That's 18 out of 20. 18 out of 20 is 9 out of 10. That's 90%. So, like, there's a 90% chance of failure, basically. Through wisdom, we can perceive. See, but this is our intuition because we did this whole thing some time ago. That was like, if our wisdom is failing us and we can't perceive of something, how are we to know? And then it was like your intuition. And I was like, oh, duh. Like I spent, it was probably Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering cards. I feel like for some reason, I feel like it was one of those booster packs. And I was like, how are we supposed to get it? Like, how are we supposed to know if it's like literally impossible to know? And the answer was our intuition. Our intuition tells us, guides us, informs us. We can trust it or not. We can follow it or not. We can discern or not. But because the Knight of Cups is here, this is like moving through intuitive waters. And then we get the Silver Key. Oh my gosh, I didn't timestamp that. This is your reminder that timestamps are approximations. Timestamps are approximations on this channel. I'm gonna say 30 minutes. I might listen to it and like tighten it up later. Translational, we're gonna say 44, 44 because we can. It's also interesting how I place these cards. So the lovers, translational energy is a dependent variable, which means And because two of these are coming together, because it's the lovers, it's coming off as like translational energy is dependent upon both vibrational energy and rotational energy. So, kind of like how I had envisioned or imagined it, translational, vibrational, or translational, rotational, and then vibrational, but we like shifted it. So, or we turned it this way. We shifted it. So it's rotational, vibrational, and then translational is up here. From a certain framework, it makes sense for us to move or progress laterally in any direction. There's like, it's almost like it's giving me PID controllers, proportional integral derivative controllers, uh, or whatever. Where it's like if we go purely off of rotational movement, it's like this rocking that can have a degree of whatever. Like a back, it could feel like a pendulum constantly going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth because it's like you're rocking it, right? But it's like if you can integrate the vibrational energy, it feels like it smooths it out. It's almost like because there's the rotational rock, but a vibrational constant alignment shift or correction, a constant correction. Because it's almost like if you rotate it and then it vibrates back into whatever, like, and then you rock it again and it vibrates, but it's like so smooth and so seamless that it appears like it's just going in a straight line. It appears to be translational because we're rocking it rotationally and correcting vibrationally. No, I think I actually saw the lovers when I was no, maybe not. Maybe not. And I'm just gonna go right back through to that. Maybe I did. The lovers is in between the Queen of Wands and the healer. The Eight of Swords, Jupiter and Gemini, and the Bread of Life, Ace of Pentacles, is on either side of that. Behind the Ace of Pentacles is the Ace of Cups. Behind the Eight of Swords is the Eight of Strength. Eight eight. That wasn't too far from the top because we went all the way to the bottom to find that vibrational energy. Now, this Queen of Wands is interesting because the Queen of Wands and the Fool is what we basically found that rotational challenge to be, right? Because it was the Five of Swords in between these two cards, but it was also like running backwards. What is all this in context of? Oh, it's like two something in the morning. Okay, just go get it. We're done. See, but this is the Queen of Wands minus the Fool. The only Fool that has come out is the Keeper, which is the awakened enlightened Fool. The presence of this translational accomplishment revealed the Ace of Cups that's needed to take us from this Ten of Cups, or from the Nine of Cups to the Ten of Cups. It also came out with the Ace of Pentacles. Oh, that's it. And oh yeah, it's right here. Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Cups. And then we have this water and earth, the erudite, and this Ten of Cups flanking the keeper. The keeper being this Queen of Wands energy. Now that it isn't the Fool anymore. We don't see the Fool with this Queen of Wands. But again, this translational movement is a function of rotation and vibration. So to move forward, to go further, we got to rotate, pivot, and we got to vibrate, align. Pivot and align, pivot and align, pivot and align our way forward. There's no challenge with the lovers. I could read the fate altering boon, but I won't. Power and authority of fire with gifts of the spirit. The power, this makes me think of the magician and the tarot apocalypses. How heavenly fire is water on earth. This gift of fire, as it's dispensed or as it is indirect distributed on the earth, it's this pouring out of water that's actually this fire. And a star is, you could say, a ball of fire burning in the sky, but it pours out its cooling waters. Now, what's interesting is in the SKT, you get two creatures of fire. The phoenix and the dragon both have strong associations with fire. And I think, no, because we have the Archangel of Glory. We have the Archangel of Glory and his shield, the golden shield. King and Queen of Wands energy on the table, clarifying, both in clarification, also both together at the bottom of this thing. So because the King and Queen of Wands are here, this one clarifying the rotational challenge, this one clarifying the translational boon, because the majors are boons, then that would put the Fool now as the third card from the bottom on the one that doesn't have either of these, but it does have the Keeper above it. I was going to mention how it's interesting that I put the top three cards above the rotational challenge, and the last three cards were those the last three? The Erudite, the Keeper, and the Ten of Cups. I put those on top of the vibrational challenge. And I was going to be like, well, the translational pile is the only one, or the translational clarifier is the only one that doesn't have a remnant of the deck above it. Well, it's because it was a function of the other two. So again, it just like validates that this is a function of these two. So in essence, um, both of these, the Chariot, Ace of Swords, this is a 7/7. Major Arcana 7 with 7 swords split between the Ace and the Six. Excuse me. And then we have a 9 Keeper 10. The Keeper is also interesting though, because there was seeking and finding. The challenge of the rotational challenges to go from seeking to finding. But with the keeper here, it's almost an energy of something withheld. But with the clarification of that challenge, we feel like it's something being withheld because we haven't taken something as far as it can go. Again, there's that feeling of us deeming a success a failure or not taking a path far enough to see that it's not drinking enough of the chalice to clarify that it was the right one. So, like, let's say we drink half of it, nothing happens, we put it to the side and get to the rest of the eight. As long as we continue to discount that one, we will never find that key because we go like, "Oh, I already drank that. I already drank that one." And it's like, actually, you didn't finish it. You're like, "Yeah, I did." It's like when you think you texted somebody back, but you didn't. Like, I already replied to that, right? And then you go back and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I never sent it, or I didn't reply, or I didn't finish it." This is so weird though, because feels like it feels like things gravitate towards that thing. Again, kind of like the truth. The truth has its own ways, so set it free. But it was like when truth goes home, or when truth goes to wherever truth comes from, you can follow that truth to more truths. It feels like while something was quote unquote being kept, it was like growing, multiplying, and then eventually you go like, "Oh, I forgot about that cup." You finish it, you find the success, and it's like way more than it was when you were first there. Another thing is I literally just realized we only have court cards clarifying these challenges. Knight of Swords, King of Wands clarifying the rotational challenge. Knight of Cups, Queen of Swords clarifying the vibrational challenge. And then we have a court card in a major, Queen of Wands to the healer, and this translational moving forward, moving up. There's like no uh, ace through 10 cards besides the challenges themselves. Cool. Even up here, it's what major, well, here it's major ace six, major 10. But an ace and a six is a seven, and the seven has mystical associations. Oh, something like that is not good. And I don't know if there's anything more to glean from this. I feel like between the rotational and vibrational challenge, there is a little, because this Five of Swords felt like it was collecting these swords. It is sequentially getting closer and closer and closer to the answer. Um, but with this Nine of Cups, like deeming a success a failure energy, it almost reads, maybe it's a question that we ask ourselves, like, why am I doing all of this? Because my question is like, it's just like it accumulates so much rotationally, but it's not necessarily accomplishing anything vibrationally. And I guess it's also interesting that this rotational energy, which I feel like we would usually use to simulate vibration, is actually supposed to be used to simulate translation. Like it's meant to simulate movement, not just like vibrating in place, vibrating higher and higher and higher, faster and faster and faster. But it's like that. There's no directionality to that. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't do anything. Vibration is vibration. This isn't a rotational energy, or this rotational tool isn't meant to simulate vibration. It's meant to work with vibration to produce translation. Rotation and vibration together is meant to produce movement. And we did have the chariot here, which is a card of movement. Oh, and look, so this would be rotation. This would be by vibration. This is translation. Translation as a function of rotation and vibration. I feel like I'm supposed to get like something more concrete. I feel like I'm not, but I am, but I'm not. You know, it's really like watching. I've watched a few shows recently, and maybe read some books where there's been a lot of in one of the shows that I'm watching, there's been so many like missed connections. It's almost like a one of the shows I'm watching. I want to say it has an ensemble cast, but I feel like that may not mean what I think it means. It's like you follow five different storylines, and at the end of it, they all come together. But throughout the show, there are characters that encounter each other and they don't know that they're significant to each other at that time. Or it's like they literally cross paths. And there's one person who's trying to unite them. And there's so many times where he's so close to them. He's met two of them before he even knew that he was looking for them, like face to face. And then there were two of them that he hadn't met, but he had such close encounters with. So anyway, um, as- and I think that's just like vibrational challenge again, because it's like we didn't get all the way through the channels. If we did, it would have revealed the key. But anyway, I've already said it. How many other times can I say it? So to go from seeking to finding, and this is the last thing I'll do before I go final cards. Take it as it resonates. If it resonates, if it don't resonate, don't take it. Because it was seed, send, bend, bind, right? Seed, send, bend, bind. If we go from the bottom of the deck, it has a seed. Oops. It seeds at the King of Wands. It sends at the Queen. It bends at the Fool. and it binds at this Knight of Swords. And coincidentally enough, the card under the Knight of Swords at the bottom of the deck is the Six of Swords, the same Six of Swords we see after that Ace of Swords and Chariot. Six of Swords, Six of Swords. With the universal Mercury of the ferryman knows where something is. So I'm not surprised that find culminates in the ferryman. Because with that universal Mercury, it signifies like having an eagle-eyed view, knowing the bigger picture. I'm playing this game right now called Cat Quest. Out of nowhere, I just got it. Kind of cute. It's kind of fun. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. And there are times when you're on a quest. This is the quester. The ferryman is the quester in the Revelations edition. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, you're on a quest, and there's multiple paths, and you have the ability in the game to zoom out and to get a larger view. And so the instruction is which one of these paths takes us where we're going. And then it's like cough, zoom out, cough, like literally in the game. They're like cough, zoom out, cough, like telling you to zoom out. Because when you zoom out, you can follow each perspective path. And it's almost like that's especially with this universal Mercury. This is zooming out, getting that greater, grander insight, and then knowing which path is the right one to take. And even if it's not right path, wrong path, knowing which path you desire. Like I was playing with my brother earlier, the second one, and there was an easy route and a difficult route, and I chose to go the difficult route because I wanted the experience to level up in the game, you know? Because when you get that experience, it makes the game easier. The game is very, very, very difficult if you try to complete it at level one, if you never level up, if you never get that experience. Sometimes it's impossible if you don't level up and get experience. And I guess that's to say it's like don't get too disparaged about not picking the right cup or whatever. I really want to go from, I want to see if I can do it real quick. I don't know. Wait. Oh, the reading is basically over. I know I could do this after, but I want to do it now. So I'm just going to screen right because it's easy. So seeks, leaks. Nope. Licks. I'll do it after because you could go seeks, seeds. I was trying not to use words they use. Sins, fins, finds, and then you can skip bending and binding, but you got to fend for yourself. Anyway, I'll do it later. Let's get phone cards. Go to bed. High priestess. Oh, I didn't even call the cards. Got a new job. Gonna start at the mall today. I don't know about 16. Just popped into my mind. Thank God I'm on my own for the first time. What is it? Something, something when you're growing up so fast. You gotta make the good times last. Look at this one. Now that the deck is together. Also want to use the water now. Mitch. Little card. Did I put the card back in the deck? Let's see. What card was it that came out? The grotesque five of cups. Just gotta make sure it's in here and I didn't leave it somewhere. And that's interesting because the grotesque in some ways represents the spark of the creator that lies within us. Yeah, it's in here. And between the six of wands and the tower. So the spark of the divine wasn't here. I also saw the six of wands. It's not at the bottom of the deck. I saw it in that deck. Oh, when I put the last card away, I put it on top of the six of wands. All right, final card. Oh, timestamp, timestamp, timestamp. We'll see. I have an idea for something I want to do, but we'll see if it gets done. One, two. I forget you can share the screen. All right. Almost said mystical shaman oracle card. The joined one, Abyssus, Abyssum, and Wokots, with the Hierophant at the bottom of the deck. Venus in Cancer, Taurus. Under the Hierophant is the Chancer, which is justice, and then the Six of Wands again behind that justice energy. It's like the two keys. There's a key of vibration and a key of rotation. The key of vibration is the key of silver because its challenge was the Nine of Cups. Find the silver key. The key of gold is the key of rotation, which was to go from seeking to finding. Because once you find something, you know. Sun energy, it is illuminating to you because you found it. This translation, it feels like the keys of silver and gold together create or unlock something more. Like you can imagine one of the keys turns into one snake and the other key turns into the other snake. Also, we have the same column like framework that was in the keeper, but now there's like no door, no portal, no mirror. It's just open. And then justice. Oh, there you go. Two of Cups is like pretty significant. Apparently, I forget where I put this box. Maybe, the Two of Cups is almost taking on this energy of us getting to know ourselves fully, wholly, and completely. Parts of us getting to know ourselves fully, wholly, and completely. We integrate our what the order of completion was earth, air, fire, and water. So, in a way, fire and water. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Um, that was the healer, and the the healer poured out the waters, and the power and authority of fire was there. Gifts of the spirit. Fire and water are essentially one and the same. A function of earth and air. Rotation and vibration. Fire and water would be translation in this. Because, I mean, there was more water than fire, but they both reached the cutoff point simultaneously through Mars, through the tower. Mars and Pisces was the only thing opposing that uh, Virgo energy. Oh, look, the chariot. Chariot and the Ten of Wands. That's one. I really hate these slaves because the little plastic is starting to peel. And it's probably because that card was sitting on top of this hot laptop. Bottoms of the decks, the moon again. The moon on one side. And even here, there's the two on the shore and then the crab in the water representing Scorpio or death. And then on the other side is the three of coins. And again, the top coin would be translational, the bottom two vibrational and rotation. I'm glad I didn't, I don't know, something told me to not necessarily do it how I was originally thinking. The top of the three of coins is the wheel of fortune. And look how like esoteric this wheel of fortune is. Again, almost giving that bird's eye view type energy. And we have the four fixed signs on this wheel of fortune, but they have wings. Top of the moon is the page of swords. Almost feels like this speaks of curiosity, but more than curiosity, it's like trusting and following your intuition. It may not make sense, it may not be logical, but doesn't mean it's not wrong. Doesn't mean it's not right. I was like, wait, did I say that right? Did you hear that? That's cheating. Let's see. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come up. Show them. The people want to see you. Come here. All right, buddy. He's here. You just can't see him. Usually you like try to jump. You tired? All right. Chino said it's time to go to bed. Good night, Chino. I hope you all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're happy and willing to make all that you wish to experience your reality. Um and all that you need, I hope you find. I hope you get where you're going. And I hope you like where you're going. And until next time, thanks, Holly, for stopping by. I don't know. I keep feeling like I'm quote unquote supposed to give this some more concrete context. But at the same time, I don't, you know. Bye. Good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever. And again, I'll see you the next time I see you. But you'll see me the next time you see me, which could be 3 years ago, for all I know.